This is part 2 of creating custom themes for Simple Machines Forum. When you submit your theme to the Simple Machines Forum team, you always want to make sure it is XHTML and CSS compliant. To start, you want to have a clean Simple Machines Forum test environment. Again, you don't want to test on a live site, you don't want to break your live site, and your live site probably has modifications which you do not want to copy over to a new theme. The tools I'll be using are Crimson Editor, which is a free HTML and text editing program, FireFox browser, which acts just as Internet Explorer or Safari does, and Web Developer Toolbar, FireFox add-on, which is free. To find FireFox, you can simply Google FireFox, and your first result will probably be for Mozilla Firefox. You can download that. After downloading, you can go back to their website, go to the add-ons section, and find the Web Developer Toolbar. The Web Developer Toolbar will add a toolbar to the bottom of your browser above your web page, and this is very helpful when building websites. So we'll get started. When you build your test environment, again, it's always good to have many different boards. Just have some short descriptions, some long descriptions, even some boards with no description. And it's good to have a forwarded board, a post and a child board, and a post and a regular board, so you can see what all your icons and boards would look like on any type of an environment. So let's say I will go ahead and show you here. If we refresh the page, you will have icons appear, which will kind of give you a quick view and make sure that you are compliant. However, if you click on the Tools drop down, you can go to Validate CSS or Validate HTML. Or to validate your HTML, you can hit Control-Shift-A. It will take you to the validation page, and that green bar will become your best friend when you're creating themes for Simple Machines. Okay, so let's say we decide we want our descriptions to be red. The color red, not to be read. Of course, we read them. Okay, so we will go in here to our board index.template.php, scroll down to where it says description, and we'll create a new div. Alright, so that tells us that we're going to have a new div. The color is going to be red. We will save that. Go back to our site. Click refresh. Alright, so now we see that our text is red and we think everything's great, and we will keep on moving on to the next step. However, if you go ahead and validate your page, you will see that we now have 99 errors, and you think, I didn't make that many errors, that many changes. However, the best thing to do is scroll down the page, and it will describe to you what your errors are. And you'll see and I would always suggest starting with the very first error, because many times when you correct the first error, it will actually correct many issues below. It says document type does not allow div here, missing one of object, applet, map, iframe, button, or whatnot start tag there. And it actually kind of gives you a line here, and it shows you where the error is. So what it's telling us there, and you'll kind of get to know these after a while, is that our div is inside of a paragraph, which it needs to be on the outside of the paragraph. So we'll go ahead and take that, put it on the outside of the paragraph, and we will hit save. Now we'll go back to our web page, hit refresh, and if you watch the text, it actually reformats inside the paragraph. We will revalidate the page, and you see that there are now 71 errors. So we'll scroll down to the first error. End tag for div omitted, but omit tag no was specified. So we will go back in here, and we realize that we have created our div, but we never closed it. So go back in here, close our div, go back to our site, hit refresh. Now you notice the thing is, you didn't really see a change here, and if you weren't validating the whole time, you would not even notice that you missed that div. So we'll go back in, hit validate, and we got our best friend, our green bar. It says our page is now clean and ready to use. That's great. So our site is XHTML compliant. Now I'm going to go ahead and just make a CSS error so that you can see what would happen there. I'm going to take off one of the zeros from the color. Now this would be a pretty easy one to see, because as you made your color, you'll notice that, well, it's still black, so you'd go back in there and try to figure it out. However, you'll notice that your CSS icon is now red. And if you go to Tools, Validate CSS, it will tell you that it has found 14 errors, and again, you want to start with the first error. It will tell you color 99000 is not a valid color. 3 or 6 numbers are required. So we will go back in, put our 0 back in there, hit save. And again, this is a pretty obvious change, but there are some other changes that you may not see as you go along. And we'll go ahead and validate our CSS again. And there we go. Congratulations. No errors found. Now another good thing with so many people having large monitors these days, from what I can tell, the standard size is still 1024 by 768. And you may even want to test for 800 by 600, but if anybody's using that, they really need to change their monitor. However, there is a button for resizing windows, and if you have a very large window, you can actually resize your window to 1024 by 768 so that you can see how the site will look on a smaller monitor. Many times people are building headers or images within their themes which end up giving a horizontal scroll to a 1024 by 768 screen. And most people don't like that horizontal scroll, so it's always good to make sure your sites are visually pleasing for the majority of monitors. And back to the making sure you are compliant, you always want to test it while you're logged in, but then you also want to log out and test it, because if you've edited anything that has to do with the guests, or even vice versa, it may be valid while you're logged in, but it may not be valid while you're logged out, and vice versa. So you always want to test it both ways, as well as you want to test if you are editing your index.template. You want to test the index page, the board index.template. You will test your index page, and you want to test any other page that you may have been editing, such as the display page or things of that nature. The SMF team will test every page that you submit, so you always want to make sure you are valid throughout the site. Good luck with your validations, and as always, you are more than welcome to go to ipostyoupost.com and show off your site. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask below. Thank you.